Hello and welcome to the lesson on literary language. This is a lesson to prepare you for narrative compre skills. Okay, so it's going to be divided into a few parts. Firstly, we're going to go through all the literary techniques that you already learned in Sec 2 literature, such as metaphors, irony, parody, pun, and then after that, we're going to go into tackling some of the question types. Right, so before we even begin, we need to distinguish between figurative and literal language. Now, what is the difference? Literal language is where you look at the surface meaning of the words. Okay, literally the car is blue, he caught the football. Figuratively, there are a few expressions, there are many expressions in fact. So, such as I've got your back. You don't literally have a person's back, but it means that you're supporting someone. Okay, or you're a doll. It could mean either positively speaking, you're very pretty, or negatively speaking, you're plastic. Okay, even in Singaporean terms, there's this phrase called catch no ball that actually means you don't understand what's being talked about. Okay. Next, okay, let's talk about metaphors, alright? Just a quick recap. Metaphors is basically comparison. Okay, comparing two things. So for instance, life is like a roller coaster, it's got ups and downs. Oh, sorry, that was a simile. So life is a roller coaster, that would be a metaphor. Okay, and I don't tell you explicitly what that quality being compared is. Alright? Examples, okay, I met her stony gaze. So it is not a direct, like, her gaze is stony, but rather here the metaphor is hidden in the adjective. Okay, so just as a stone is hard and unfeeling, so was a gaze, okay, it did not express any emotion, for instance. Butterflies in my stomach, just as butterflies flutter, I don't know, the feelings in my, the nervousness in my stomach was similarly causing feelings of unease. Yeah, something like that. The world is an oyster, okay? And also my heart melted. Again, it is hidden in the verb. Right, moving on. Next, we have similes. So very similar to metaphors. In fact, it is a subset of metaphors. Only thing is, it uses like or as. Okay, so for instance, you are skinny as a rail, say simile. So you see the quality being compared here is skinny and is explicitly said. You're a mountain. Okay, he doesn't exactly say what exactly about him is like a mountain. Could be he's as tall as a mountain, he is wide as a mountain, he's as difficult to get over as a mountain. Something like that. Okay, so more examples. Okay, important thing is just because there's the presence of like or as, it doesn't make a simile until there's a comparison. So, for instance, as well as something, you need to eat protein as well as carbohydrates. So, it doesn't mean that protein and carbohydrates are being compared. Alright, same thing, I like pizza, not a comparison. Okay, moving on. Let's see what's next. Okay, after this we have personification. Alright, which is giving non-living things lifelike qualities or giving animals human qualities. So, for instance, our house is an old friend. Although he creaks and groans with every gust of wind, he never fails to protect us from the elements. So here the house is being compared to what? It's like a guardian, like a protector. Okay. Here, one of my favorites, the shrill scream of the alarm clock sounded, dragging me from the warm embrace of sleep. So here, the alarm clock and sleep are personified. Okay, the alarm clock is personified as someone that's very annoying. Okay, who has a shrill voice and screams, quite jarring. Whereas sleep is compared to a loved one. Okay, warm embrace. Why do we personify things? We do this to make things more interesting. Okay, sometimes it adds qualities. So for instance, if I were to tell you sleep is wonderful, it's the best thing in the world, it doesn't quite hit the spot. But if I were to tell you sleep, the warm embrace of sleep, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's why you personify things. Next, okay, this is pronounced as hyperbole. I repeat, hyperbole, not hyperbole, not hyperbole. Okay, so hyperbole is basically exaggeration. Alright, it is an overstatement, so it's the opposite of understatement. Okay, why do we use this? To make things funny. Okay, take for instance this cartoon. Okay, Garfield is walking and then he sees all these signs that evidently someone does not want him to get to wherever his destination is. Okay, so uses adjectives like vicious, big, honking dog. gazillion volt electric fans, and the T-Rex. Okay, so then turns out it was put up by Odie, who thought that his hyperboles would work. Okay, but they are quite transparent, so Garfield could see through them. Okay. Oh, and that was just transparent. That's a metaphor. Okay. Examples of hyperboles. We use it every day. Okay. I've got a ton of homework. Could eat a horse. Got a million things to do. Yeah. So all these things are used to exaggerate. Okay. All right. Next we have pun. So puns were used last time to show wit. Now, yes, it is also witty. Okay, but more for jokes. Okay, something has a double meaning, then it's a pun. Examples. Okay, these are some of my favorite jokes. Okay, so double meaning here, no charge. A neutron has no charge. Traveling light, a photon is traveling light. This is my personal favorite, past, present, and future. It was tense.